Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are talking about something that, well, actually I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about this subject and I did not know the definition and it totally bugged me. I was driving the car and I came home and looked up the definition of the two words. Today's topic is about the differences between courage and bravery. Do you know what the differences are?
No.
No, I don't.
Courage and bravery?
Having courage and being brave. Well, that alone might give you a clue as to the differences.
Right. I think courage is when you're about to face something, like you have the courage to actually make a move and do it. Being brave is inside. Like just you are brave or you're not. I don't think you can teach bravery. I think you either are a brave person or you don't fall into that camp.
Okay.
That's my definition.
That's interesting. Okay, so we're going to get into it. It's the opposite of that.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Yeah, I mean, I did not know the answer and it really bugged me. I'm like, what, these two words that we've listened to and we think we know and we've heard most of our lives. And when it came down to it, I'm like, actually don't know the difference between the two. We use them the same, but they're a little different.
Okay.
Okay.
So give us the actual.
All right, I will in a minute. Before we get started, I want to really give a little bit of a plug for my group coaching. If you're interested, if you listen to the last 3 episodes, we did that small series on emotional mastery, and you want to do a deeper dive for yourself because you know that that's just something in your life that, you want to improve upon. You want to develop the skills. You want more insights about yourself, but really you want to develop the skills. Reach out to me. Let's get you in the group coaching program. They're really wonderful when we get these small groups together and people get a lot out of it. So hello at Anna Marcolene, of course, is where you will find me. And let's get on a call and get you on the list to join the group coaching. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So the differences between bravery and courage. So we talk about bravery. When you hear people talk about bravery, what do you think of? I know I think of, you were so brave. I think of 9/11. I think of the firefighters running into the fire, running up those stairs in the towers to save people. Though they were brave. Firefighters are brave. I think of special ops, the special operations, Navy SEALs, the Rangers, these men and women. They're brave. They take action and they go towards the danger. They run into the ocean to save somebody who's drowning. That takes bravery, right? So courage is different though. Courage is quiet. So courage starts on the inside. It's the decision to keep going, when no one else is watching. So I thought it was interesting. It's the quiet resilience that says, I'll try again tomorrow. I actually think it takes a lot more to have courage. Well, it takes a lot to have both, but I think it takes a lot for most of us to have courage. Courage is an everyday thing. Courage is in every single one of us, or it is not, or it's something that we struggle with and we want to improve upon. Every single person can work on their courage. Not everybody will be given the opportunity to be brave. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's opposite of what I said, then yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So being brave is you're willing to jump into the fire. You're willing to jump into something dangerous potentially and make a move.
Bravery is outward and situational.
Yeah.
And courage it's inward and it's enduring.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Who's the character in The Wizard of Oz? Looking for courage.
Dorothy?
Really?
The Tin Man?
Looking for courage.
Oh, the lion.
Yeah.
He was afraid of everything.
There you go.
Oh yeah, he wanted courage.
There you go. Dorothy?
I was so irritated by him. I'm not gonna lie. Even when I was a little girl, that frayed lion, I was annoyed by him. He was just I thought he was a wimp.
Well, I think that was the,
I think most of us thought he was a wimp.
That was the, I think, plan.
And I love the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow was looking for, well, the Tin Man wanted a heart. I love the Tin Man. The Tin Man wanted a heart. Oh my gosh, this is so sad that we don't know. What did the Scarecrow want? He was like, ooh,
brains.
He couldn't. Brains, because his legs roll like noodles. He wanted brains. If I only had a brain. I know you sang that at work.
I do sing that at work. Mean thing. It's not mean. It's true.
If I only had a brain. Tim, you're outing yourself by doing that right now. Because people at work are listening to this like, wait, has he done that
No,
about me?
they know
As I
it.
walked away.
They know it. Anybody that's listening to this, most everybody that's listening to this knows that I hum that to myself as I walk away from certain
And
situations.
if you're
Okay.
20, you're gonna have no idea because you don't know the Wizard of Oz the way the rest of us Gen Xers
Right.
and
Absolutely right.
baby boomers, like that was Thanksgiving Day every single year was the Wizard of Oz always on after the Super Bowl? I'm sorry, not it was either Thanksgiving or the Super Bowl. I think Thanksgiving was the Wizard of Oz, wasn't it? Because there's one game, right? And it was like four every. It still is that way now. And then that evening around 7 or 8, the Wizard of Oz would be on, or I think The Sound of Music.
Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Or Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. That's early 70s. I hated that show. I hated that movie. Was that Dick Van Dyke? Who I did love, but I hated Chitty Chitty.
All right, I'm going to reel you back in. Ready?
All right, so let's reel it back in. There we go. So courage is inward and it's enduring. So it's the long-term willingness to live aligned to your truth. It's the willingness to stay vulnerable, which is hard for so many of us, and to keep showing up when the outcome is uncertain. I think about this with work. Think about this with so many situations in all of our lives where it's like you have to face yourself. That's really what courage is about. And it's hard. It's hard to continue to show up day in and day out and face yourself and whatever your internal struggles are. That's courage. And those are the heroes.
Yeah.
People who continue to show up and do the damn thing and do the hard work, whether it be in their personal life with a relationship. Maybe there's a mental illness that they're dealing with in the family. Maybe there's a marriage that's falling apart. Or maybe you're just stressed out with work and you've got a bunch of toddler and preschoolers running around. It's hard. That does take a form of courage.
Totally. Is it trainable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can train that.
Yeah.
So, what's the difference between quiet courage? So, this is what it is. Courage is quiet and bravery is loud. So, think of it that way, right? So, quiet courage, it looks like choosing to go to therapy after years of resistance, of years of, I don't need it. I don't need to go talk to anybody, but really you do need to because your friends are not your therapists and your mom and your sisters and your brothers and your best friends and your coworkers, they're not your therapists. They're just not people. I think you all probably know this, but I hear this. I just heard it yesterday with a client saying someone in their family needs to go to therapy. And they were telling me, well, they're not going to go because it's not a value. It's not something that we do, but does she ever need it? That's courage.
Right.
Because it's scary. You've never been there before. And you think you're going to have to expose your whole life in front of a complete stranger. Well, it doesn't work that way. You develop psychological safety over time. But yeah, it is taking the time to find somebody, to getting on the Zoom or getting in your car and driving there and going and finding their office and sitting in the waiting room and going in and sitting down. And whether it be on a screen or it be live, it's sitting across from a person facing them and saying, hi, and this is what I'm here for, and starting to tell your story. That takes courage.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we don't want to tell ourselves the story. We don't want to do it ourselves.
Right. You don't take the time to.
You don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And vulnerability can feel exposing.
It's risky.
Yeah.
It's for yourself. It's risky. Risky move.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you say bravery is loud, just to be clear, it doesn't mean we're not talking audio loud. We're talking about, because it could be just visual loud.
Bravery is more action.
Yeah.
So it's the outward action that you see.
But that's the definition in that case of loud, is that you can either hear or see bravery, right? You see the results of a brave moment.
And do we ever think about in the movies like Braveheart? What was that movie? We were in France. We were at the town where Joan of Arc, is it Orleans, where she was 14 years old and she led that French army.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Just this teenage girl with her hair chopped off and like a metal suit on the back of a horse, leading an army of men, yelling to lead this army. You want to talk about bravery. That's brave.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And we think of those stories of people who have been brave throughout where history has told us their narratives. And I get the chills thinking about some of these people. They're our heroes and our heroines. Like I said, about the firefighters running into the fire on 9/11.
Yeah.
It's outward action. It's aligned action. And this is what I'm going to get into. Where does it come from? Because they have courage on the inside.
Yeah.
It's aligned action to their interior courageous beliefs and values.
Yeah.
So courage is a value for many people.
Mm.
And then when the opportunity comes up, they're the one who's jumping out of their car when they see a terrible car accident and going right to the scene. Are you helping people get out? Just not sitting, it's going, move, go, go, go. And you're helping.
Yeah.
You're assisting in some way. That's bravery. But you have to have the value at some level, to some degree, on the inside of courage,
I think you're right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I'm reading that book. It's a series on World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking about specifically, you just mentioned France. I'm thinking about D-Day. I'm thinking about,
You want to talk about bravery.
Yeah.
My God.
Because you had the Marines who were assaulting the beaches and they were in those boats and they were landing. I think
How many of them died? They never made it to the beach.
most.
And we
It's
were there in Normandy.
staggering the numbers.
We were there in March in Normandy.
Yeah.
Who was it? The general? Eisenhower?
Eisenhower,
He said-
Montgomery, yeah, all of them.
He said, don't
Yeah.
die. Most of you are going to die,
Yeah.
but don't die. I mean,
Don't
can
die.
you imagine hearing that? You're 18 years old,
Yeah.
19 years old,
Yeah.
and most of them died.
Yeah.
So that's brave.
But I'm thinking about inside of each of those boats, you had to have at least one or two that were brave, just organically brave. Because when they lowered down that hatch, basically to land them on the beach,
Right.
somebody had to make that move. And even
Someone
though
had to go
maybe you were
first.
in the middle of the boat or the back of the boat and you weren't brave, maybe you became brave for just a
You
second
did.
to follow.
Tim, they all had courage.
Yeah.
Every single one of them had courage.
Well, courage, yes.
The person in the
but-
front had courage and was brave, said, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
But there were many, and this is an interesting side note. So there were many that took the opportunity to harm themselves. Like they shot off a toe or they shot off a finger so they didn't have to move forward. Yeah, there were
they
plenty,
did.
or shot themselves in the thigh. So they were like,
So they-
air quotes, injured.
Oh.
Yeah. Did they want to jump in and fight? I'm sure. And they also were scared to death. They weren't brave. They maybe had courage. They had courage to be there, go through the training and all the things.
We're going to get into that. We're going to
Yeah.
talk about the science of courage and how it's very much actually aligned with fear.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that quiet courage for a minute and let's bring it down to the everyday. So we're talking about World War II, a moment in time that there's still books written about it. You're reading one again right now. What does quiet courage look like? So it looks, like I said, the person going to therapy after years of avoidance. It's the single mom applying for a job that she's really not sure she's going to get it and she's going to apply anyway. It's someone saying, I need help. I need help. I'm making myself vulnerable. I need help. And these are not life-changing decisions. Really, for many people, they're not the big headlines. And for some people, it can be life-changing. For some people, it's not like whole life-changing, but you're working on one aspect of your life. That takes courage to do that. It's much easier to just continue to put your head down and kind of like, la, 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 like, I'm just going to continue to pretend that this is not happening and this isn't really hurting me, because I think we get used to the devil we know versus the devil we don't know. It becomes almost like egocentric, where we're used to this resistance in our lives. We're used to it being hard. We're used to the existential pain that we feel in our heads, in our minds. We're used to it, so we stay with it. It's a form of suffering. It's an interior form of suffering, and people don't realize what's on the other side for them. So they said, I'm afraid. I don't want to make that change. Well, and I don't have the courage. So I'll stay where I'm at in this pain, in this suffering, because I know it.
Yeah.
I have seen and see that quite a bit in my practice, both with therapy and coaching.
Sometimes I feel like people like that. Like
Well,
they,
that's what you said. Yeah, right.
but I mean, they like it so much that they don't want to move from it. Like they just
I told you about that.
stew in
Yeah.
it. It's like
I mean,
a
I told you about
whirlpool.
the
You just
client.
spin it.
Years ago, who she enjoyed talking to me. I enjoyed talking to her. She came to me. She used to be a cancer patient. She was in remission. She was cancer free.
Yeah.
And she had other issues that she wanted to work on via her cancer diagnosis. She started to look at her life and wanted to work on some other issues and some low-key addictions that she had. And cancer free, willing to do the work, came to see me in my office. We spent so much time talking around the issue. She kept trying to get in there and encourage her, this is why you come here every week. This is what you want to work on. You say you want to work on this. And then finally I had to have like a come to Jesus meeting with her when I said, listen, this is not the best use of your time, nor is the best use of my time, because you're here, you won't work on it.
Yeah.
And I did. I talked about this recently on the podcast. We called them doorknob conversations, where you're at the doorknob, but the conversation's still going on. And the time session's way over. I need to go to the bathroom for my next person's coming in.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to leave. And I said to her, "You're not working on the issues. And why is that?" Or whatever it was. And she said to me, "I don't want to.
Mm,
I don't want to change."
I'm good.
And I said, "Okay, that's it. Thank you for that." Finally, that really honest response. And I think we're done here. And she knew, and she didn't make another appointment with me. She knew it was over. We enjoyed each other. She enjoyed coming in and talking with me, but you're not paying for us to chit chat for 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You're paying for a service. And I
Right.
can't, she wouldn't let me do my job. And I told her that. And she said, "Yeah, okay. I don't want to make those changes." Okay,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
So,
The goal was
right.
the goal was definitely not the goal
Right.
for her.
So we talked about courage being quiet. Bravery tends to be louder. It's bravery is what grabs attention. That's what I was talking about the movies. It's visible, it's inspiring, and it is contagious. We all know those feelings of watching a movie where you're like, wow, there's the hero. They're such a badass. Look at the heroine. But I think when we look at these people that we look up to, whether they be political people, remember, or people who've led people through, think about Moses, led the Israelites through the Red Sea. We look to these people and in their bravery, it's built on this foundation of this quiet courage.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
courage comes first, then comes the bravery. All right.
So is it possible to be brave and not have courage ever?
No, and this is where we're talking about courage and fear. They're along the same neural pathways. No, I think you can be afraid. Do you think that these people, these leaders, were not afraid, who had courage? They sat with their fear. They had courage and they were afraid and they were fearful and they were nervous and they had anxiety. They had courage and they still moved forward into the outward action of bravery. So courage is not without fear. They were afraid.
Yeah.
You think about, go back to Normandy, go back to D-Day. They were scared shitless. I'm sure all of those young men.
Yeah. I don't know. I might disagree with you. Unless the theory is that everybody has courage. It's just at different levels. Then I can see it. We all have courage.
And we're not judging. There are people who did not sign up to go to war because
Yeah.
they're afraid. And they would say, "I don't have courage. I don't have that kind of courage. I
Right.
don't have it. And I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
I thought I would face my fear. And I don't know. We don't know how we'd be. I don't know that I wouldn't be the 18-year-old in that boat who wouldn't have shot myself in the foot to get called out and to go into the medical tent and go home. Because this is way more than I thought it was going to be. This is, oh my God. You're here. How many months did they train for D-Day in the U.S., right? They trained for months and months and months.
Some, but some not at all. Some
some
just
of them
went.
Some
right?
of them trained for 2 years. Some of those,
Yeah,
their parents
sure.
signed them up when they were 17.
Yeah.
And then they get on the boat. It takes 2 weeks to get across the Atlantic. And now you're there and it's happening. And the weather's horrible. It's pouring down rain. There's storms.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I would be. I don't know how I would be.
Yeah.
And I can understand how it's like, no, I don't have this level. I'm not brave because I don't have this level of courage inside of me.
Right.
I want a mulligan. I'm done. I want to go back home.
Yeah. Many said that. I'm just wondering if you have a person. Well, I guess you have to define, do we all have courage? Either you agree with that or you don't. You don't have to answer the question, but I'm just wondering. That's the first thing. If there are folks that don't have courage, are they capable of having a moment of bravery? A moment of like, snap in, do something crazy, like save somebody, or I don't know, some type of moment where it's like, oh, that was a really brave thing you just did.
So I haven't thought about this in years, and I'm just thinking about it right now. So when I was 12, I was mauled by a German Shepherd. Whatever, I love German Shepherds. I still love them now. They're beautiful dogs. It's my fault. I was 12. I was with my best friend, Rhonda, also 12, and my younger sister, Paula, who's 9 years old. And we were in a property in the back. So this is like Potomac, Maryland, Rockville, Maryland, where this is like horse country farms. And there were no fences. This is back in the day when dogs just ran. These are the best times, I think. Dogs just ran. We didn't really put our dogs on leashes, and it was nice. And we would just run from yard to yard to yard to yard. I mean, just whatever,
They didn't even make leashes back then.
And you didn't have fences, and we knew all the kids, and fences if people had horses, but we know all the kids in the neighborhoods, and you could be gone for miles.
Yeah.
The newer house was built like 2 acres behind my parents' home, and they had a German Shepherd that was fenced in, a huge backyard. And this house was built on a property that before it was built, we used to hang out and play back there, my brothers and myself. There's 8 of us. So we'd hang out back there. It was a huge rock. It's a huge, huge rock you could climb upon, and we'd like use our imaginations and play games back there on this rock. Well, they built this house, this yard was now part of that property. So we wanted to go to that rock. Well, the German Shepherd was in there, and it was a high-strung dog, would barked a lot. You always heard the dog barking. Back in those days, you didn't call the cops because the dog was barking. You just might have around here now. You just dealt
Right.
with that neighbor's dog who barked all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I had no fear of animals and loved animals, no fear of dogs. I went into that fenced in yard where that rock was. And my best friend, she stayed back. She's like, I'm not going in there. That dog's crazy. And I went in there by myself, and my sister, 9, and Rhonda stayed back, didn't go in. And I went in. I'm like, come back here, come in here. And they wouldn't come. I think someone came in, they went back out, but I was like back there. I was climbing on the look at the dog. Look at the rock. I'm on the rock. But that dog, looking back now, that dog was like, didn't want me in there.
Yeah.
And was like running in circles. And dumb me, was, thank God I was standing by a small tree, because the dog came up to me and I bent down to see what the dog's name was, but I went towards the dog's collar, like put my hand towards his neck. And the second I did that, he grabbed me and he went for my neck, but instead I think he got my thigh. Anyways, I got mauled by this dog all over my thigh, my left leg, my left foot, my left arm. And thank God there was a tree that I could hold on to hold myself up, because the dog was trying to knock me over. The dog was trying to kill me. And I held on to. So anyways, I was screaming, and then my sister and my best friend started screaming. I think Paula, my 9-year-old sister, came in to get me while they were watching this dog maul me, to pull me out. And she was 9. That's brave. She was brave.
Yeah.
She didn't think. That dog could have killed her, then went to her, but she just saw what was happening to her older sister. She just came in, she grabbed me, and she pulled me out. And the dog, thankfully, did not go after her. And can you imagine? I mean, that was pure bravery on her part.
Totally. Yeah.
You could say it a way. She saved me. She literally saved me. And I haven't thought about that in how many years.
Yeah.
But that was bravery from a 9-year-old little girl.
There you go.
There you go. So that's a great example of bravery. Did she have courage? She must have had some courage, but I think that they were both afraid. She's watching her sister get mauled by this dog. And I'm screaming. I don't know what I was saying. Help me, get me out of here, whatever. And she didn't think, she went and did it. But she must have had some sort of strength of character, of courage inside of her to go in there and to come and to help me out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so what's the science of courage? I want to get into that real quickly. So from a neuroscience standpoint, courage activates the same fear centers in the brain as panic, which I thought was so interesting, but with one key difference. So people who act courageously, they experience the fear and take action anyway. So there's the difference. So we're all experiencing the fear, but there's one camp that's like, I'm going to take action anyway. I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to face that fear and I'm going to go forward. And I talk about this on the podcast. I talk about fail forward, because we all fail in all different aspects of our lives every day, all the time. We will until we die. But fail forward, go forward, and keep moving. So this is the prefrontal cortex. It's our logic and our regulation center. It overrides the amygdala's fear response. Okay. So in other words, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the regulation of fear. So courage regulates. I've been talking a lot here about emotion regulation, and that's emotional mastery. So courage is really about regulating your fear.
And so when you say you go forward anyway, is that when courage steps into bravery? Is that the moment when
you were brave?
You toggle it at that point, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually a really hard topic, because I was getting ready for this and thinking about this topic now for a week. I knew we were going to talk about this today, and doing my research and thinking about stories and examples. And I have an example where I've not passed it. I'm not brave. I don't have courage. And I actually have to get professional help with it.
Okay.
I do. I actually, probably in January, I'm going to go see somebody for this. I have a terrible fear of heights.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Horrible fear of heights. Like immobilizing, gripping fear of heights. And I've known it since I was 18 years old, and I was doing some ROTC thing in college and signed up to rappel down the side of a building.
Yeah.
Because I could just do that. I took this class and I was like,
is there video of this somewhere? Please say yes.
I don't know what I was thinking. Well, this is when I first realized I have a fear of heights because I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, sure, I'll do it
Okay.
with a couple of my roommates or friends at the time. I take the class, I get all geared up, I have strapped on. And I have to stand. I think I talked about it here on the podcast. I had to stand on the edge of a building. It was like a 3-story building.
Backwards.
Backwards.
Yeah.
And I have to stand like I'm on the diving board with my toes, my
Right. Like this.
with my toes like hanging off the end and
Yeah.
holding on to the rope thing. And
Right.
I'm like,
That's faith right there.
the guys, ROTC guys are on either side of me. There's someone down the ground. And that's why that recent viral video of that firefighter who also had that fear of heights, it was all over Instagram and TikTok and he was screaming. And I can hardly watch it because that's my fear too. Screaming, screaming, screaming. He had to rappel. Then they had to put him in a carriage, like the basket, because he had to be the person. You have to also be the person that you're saving. So you need to know what it's like to be them. And you have to lie in that basket.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Of the side of the building.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hell no. What? You want me to stand on the edge of this building and hang with my toes? Or no, that's what I knew. I'm like, and they're like, why did you they were so annoyed with me. These ROTC guys, the college kids, like, why'd you take the class then? I'm like, I don't know. I thought I could do it. I'm like, and I looked at them like they were crazy. I'm like, are you crazy?
So you didn't go?
No. Are you crazy? No, I'm not doing it. And they're trying to talk me into it. Come on, you can do it right here. There's a guy down there. You know what you're doing. Come on, use your head. I'm like, nope. I started taking all the carabiners, unhooking the carabiners, taking like the thing off.
That seems risky.
No, I was standing on the roof. I was now on the roof.
Not at the edge.
No, not the edge. I'm like not doing it. And I didn't do it. And my friends all did it. And I walked down the stairs. They were so pissed at me. They were mad. I don't blame them. They took the time. And my friends all did it. I stood in the bottom and watched them all come down, except I didn't. And that's when I knew. So I never, after that, really did anything to challenge that fear of heights. I just knew I was afraid of heights. And then it wasn't until 10 years ago, I signed up for 23andMe, and they send you or is it Ancestry? One of them, which I've now deleted my account because of whatever. I don't want them selling my information, but it was one of those accounts where you send in your saliva and they tell you all the things about you. And I did the health piece, and it was so amazing. It said, genetically, you may be afraid of heights. I'm like, oh, I am afraid of heights.
Wait,
so this is a genetic thing.
How do they know that? How do they know that? How is that possible?
It's unbelievable, right? I have no idea, but it's in your DNA. It said
that's
you
science,
may be afraid
but I would love to understand the connection of that.
I'm afraid
of heights.
My older brother's afraid of heights. We've always known it. And I'm afraid of heights. I don't know if anybody else in the family that other 6 are afraid. I'm terrified of heights. Okay. So all this to say, I have never really had to deal with it because I avoid. I don't go near cliffs. We go on vacations and hiking. I don't go near the edges. I really freak out when we're in the Dolomites and we're in the Alps and we're renting a car. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. I'm like white knuckling it, holding on. Like I'm
true.
I'm saying my prayers especially we're on the outside of a cliff.
If your side of the car is on the outside.
My side of the car is on the outside.
We're in
if we're in
trouble.
the Alps or down the Amalfi Coast, I'm saying my prayers like we are going to die. I was on a freaking Greyhound bus in Croatia going to Medjugorje when I was in college.
Yeah.
And actually my 2 girls I was studying abroad with, we got down on the ground. We thought we were going to, this bus driver is driving a Greyhound bus on one of those cliff-like roads. He's driving like, it's like what he does. He's just a Croatian man. It was back when it was Yugoslavia. And I thought, this is how I die. This is how I die at the age of 21. This is how I die. So I did not realize that the road to where we were going involved driving along a cliff on the side of a mountain, right? And it's happened a few times over my life. So you know how I am. But I like to hike, and I can hike in the mountains, not a problem. And I realize now, looking back, that when I have hiked with you or with my sister, we have been surrounded by woods, trees. So we'll go on these great hikes, but there's trees all around. Back in the end of June, my sister and I were hiking in Olympia National Park in Washington State, and it was beautiful, but it was raining. And so the ground was a little wet, a little slick, it was a little muddy. And we were up this really steep climb.
Yeah.
And then we get about halfway up. And of course, we're talking about people who are afraid of heights. Why are we talking about that in that moment? I have no idea why we're talking about that. But people are coming down from the mountain. They're like, yeah, you got about a mile to go before you reach the lake. I'm like, a mile? Wow, that's okay. And, people are like with their walking sticks or people in their 60s and 70s or older people. They're like jaunting down the side of the mountain. And, hikers, I mean, they're like the friendliest people. Everybody's there to help each other out. And we're just, trudging up. And then we come to an opening. And I'm telling you, and my sister had just been telling me about her best friend from college and her husband, and the husband's really terrified of heights. And she was telling me that she was telling Wilma. Wilma was saying to her husband, Tommy, he's like, I'm terrified. And she goes, just imagine that I'm a tree. Just imagine I'm a tree. I'm the tree. I'm the tree. If you can see me on YouTube, I'm a tree. I'm a tree. Just remember that I'm a tree. And she's telling me this story. I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know how that would work, but okay. So she was a tree for Tommy. Okay. And we continue walking. We get to this opening, Tim. I told you this.
Yeah.
I've never been on the side of a mountain like this. Never. Where you looked up and you looked up and you looked down and you looked down. And I looked out, which is the biggest mistake. I looked out and I could see all the mountains. Now, if I had appreciated this, it was actually quite beautiful because there were flowers all over the mountain. Flowers everywhere, like wildflowers. It was like a photographer's dream. You would have been in heaven.
Yeah.
And I knew it was beautiful, but I couldn't appreciate it. I looked out, I saw the mountains, I looked straight down, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to hurl to my death. I walked out about 10 feet, and Carla didn't even realize I wasn't behind her anymore. She kept on walking and talking. And I'm like, I can't. I got down in a fetal position. All I wanted to do was go fetal. And there were these two flowers on the trail in the opening. There were these two beautiful flowers. They were like black-eyed Susans. It's crazy. I grabbed onto these two flowers. I grabbed on the flowers.
How'd that go?
I got in the fetal. I look like a crazy person. I got in the fetal position. I grabbed on the flowers. I'm kind of like, flowers, can you save me? Can you? Like, I wanted the flowers to help me. It was crazy. It was craziness. But that's a fear that I have never experienced. So Carla comes back. She's like, oh, she's probably looking at me like, okay, what's going on here? And
she's talking to flowers.
She's holding on these two little flowers. Like she's going to uproot them. And if I fall backwards, I'm thinking I fall backwards, I'm hurling to my death. And I'm going to
with the flowers.
I'll have two flowers in my hand.
You're going to kill the flowers.
So she comes over, no fear whatsoever, stands in the trail is not that wide. We're in a narrow part. So the trail is probably 2 feet wide. It's pretty narrow.
That's not very wide.
It's not very wide.
Yeah.
And we're way, way, way out in the open now, which I've never had that experience. She stands behind me with her back to the mountain going down. And she goes, I'm a tree. Just pretend I'm a tree. I'm a tree, Anna. I'm like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So she had to hold my hand. I couldn't get up. I was in a fetal position. I couldn't get up. She goes, take my hand. And I took her hand and I was like walking crouched down, like seriously walking crouched down. And she took my hand. She led me back into the woods. Once we got in the woods, I was totally fine. But we couldn't go any further. We had to go back. And I felt really bad because I kind of ruined her hike. I ruined the hike.
Well, you wanted to see the lake.
We wanted to get up there. I mean, the weather wasn't great, but
yeah.
I think she knew and I knew I can't do this. I can't hike here.
Yeah.
In this beautiful national park in Washington. I can't do this. I can't go in these openings. So I actually took a course last month, 12-hour class on exposure response therapy, because I'm not a specialist in that, but I wanted to understand what's going on for me. And that's not going to be a specialty of mine, but I wanted to understand. It's for people with panic disorder and phobias. And I wanted to understand what was happening. So it helped. And I met in that online class, I met somebody who specializes it, who's here in Chicago. And I've reached out to her and I'm going to go, and she's a hypnotist. I'm sorry. It's hypnotherapy. So I'm going to go and see her. She's also a regular psychotherapist, but I'm going to go see her. And I'm going to go through some hypnosis because we love to hike and we love to be outdoors. And I'm not going to be responsible for ruining people's vacations because I want to experience it too. I've got to get over this primal fear. It's primal. So all this to talk about courage and bravery, everyone, there are times in your life when you may need help with it. There are times when you may need that this isn't just something you can just muscle yourself through. There's something in my amygdala, in my brain. And I thought to myself, okay, so for all these years that I've treated people with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, all these years that, I treat trauma, I treat PTSD. I'm not a specialist in phobias and true panic disorder, like people who are like me or people who can't drive over bridges. I've never understood it. now I understood it in a way that I wish I really never did experience, but it was good for me to experience to know. So this is what people feel. This is what they go through.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awful. So I don't have that courage. I'm not brave. I don't have that courage. There's something in my brain that's misfiring. It's taking it as a huge threat to me that I'm going to lose my life. So what I'm going to do, you may think this is courage. I don't think it really takes courage, but I'm going to take action and I'm going to do something to work on it. Is I'm going to go see somebody who specializes in hypnosis and could help me, because she, in her bio, she works on people with fear of heights and other fears. I'm going to take action and I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I want this to be different. And that's my courage to deal with my fear of heights.
Okay.
And so that hopefully I'll be brave.
That's my question.
Yeah.
So your moment of taking action to go see somebody, that's a brave moment.
No, it's courage.
That's
it's
courage.
Interior. It's the bravery will be me going out and hiking. No, courage is interior. It's in here.
I get it. But don't you have to have a moment of being brave to actually make a move to go see somebody? Isn't that, that's bravery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know if that's bravery.
I don't know, but I think everybody else is asking the same question right now, because then I'm with you. Then you are building up your courage to introduce yourself to the moment where you make the decision to be brave, to go on that next hike, right? That's the move.
Yeah, I have the courage to do this, and I will be brave.
Okay.
I'm going to be brave. Just think of brave as action. Brave is a line to action from your courage. So courage is on the inside. Bravery is on the outside. Courage is quiet. Brave is loud. That's how I think of it. Courage is quiet. Bravery is loud.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the quiet courage to call this therapist, make an appointment, and go. And the bravery will be that I've gone through all this hypnotherapy and worked on this.
Yeah.
The bravery is taking that next trip. Like we go out west again.
Yeah.
And we go hiking, and I will have developed the skills, and I have worked on my brain to get me past the fear. And I will be brave, and I will go on the hike with you, and I will walk out into the opening, and I will do it.
Yeah.
And it might be I walk out 20 steps and then walk back, but I went further than I normally would have.
Sure.
That's Anna's bravery when it comes to her fear of heights.
Sure.
I'm never going to jump out of a plane. I'm never going to stand on the edge of a cliff, because to me, that's just not smart.
How about a high dive?
There you go. That could be something, that finding the courage to be brave and jumping off the high dive, because you know how I am about that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I thought this was, I don't know, I thought this was such an interesting topic, because I really didn't know the differences between the two.
Let me ask you a question. So do you have to, in a moment of bravery, I don't know that you, I'll ask the question, I'm not going to just say it, but like, does it have to be a moment like an emergency or like life-threatening situation or a super dangerous situation? It doesn't, right? It doesn't have to be that.
What if the bravest thing you could do this week isn't public at all? What if the bravest thing you could do this week is something that only you know and no one else knows?
But that's courage, you said. That's a definition of courage.
Right.
Because I'm wondering, like, let's say you have somebody on your team or a family member. Let's say it's at a funeral. Somebody is up there and trying to make a presentation or give a eulogy or
it takes
whatever
courage to give a speech.
Right. But let's say they're struggling and you're sitting in the audience. I would think a moment of bravery would be you taking action and literally not saying a word. You don't have to actually make any noise, but going up there, go to the front and just put your hand on their shoulder. That's brave. To me, that's a moment of bravery.
Yeah.
And it's not life-threatening.
Yes.
And you haven't said a word. But you go up there in front of everybody and you just go like this. And hopefully your person is like,
thank you.
I'm good. I'm good now.
Because you are the person's like, I don't really want to come up here and stand in front of everybody and draw attention to myself.
Right.
But they're struggling and they need the help.
Yeah.
They could use the support.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. That's a really good one.
But that's a moment of bravery where it's not life-threatening or anything else, where you're not jumping off of anything. It's okay.
Yeah, so courage and bravery are very closely aligned.
Yeah.
So I think it takes courage to do something brave. It takes courage.
There you go. That's a great way to say it.
It takes courage to do something brave. And a lot of times what we do in our life that's brave is not public. No one sees it.
Sure.
Maybe it takes courage within myself to muster up. I talk about mustering up the courage to send a difficult email. So then you are brave. You sent that email. I was brave. You sent that email and you said what you did in it. It took the courage on the inside to start typing to that person.
Yeah.
Maybe something difficult about or why we're not offering you the position. I don't know what it'd be, or we need to meet for coffee. There's some things. that have happened that we need to work out.
Yeah.
There's just some hard emails. And I think a lot of us don't have the courage to do it. So we're not brave, but we don't never send that email.
Yeah.
So we just let the relationship slide.
And also sometimes that's the moment of not being courageous or brave, is sending the email when you really should have that face to face, which that would take bravery to do.
Would. Yeah,
right?
Sure would.
And so you shrink and hide behind your keyboard, and you probably shouldn't.
Be brave, everybody.
Be brave.
So for all of us, this is something that I think this is life's work. This is a life work episode that all of us can work on our courage. This is the inside, and work on moments in our lives of being brave. And I would say be brave in the service of someone else. Like you said about the funeral, giving the eulogy and they're struggling.
Yeah.
And you go up there and you say, I don't really want to do this because I don't really like I don't like public speaking. I don't want to stand in front of 100 people.
Yeah.
And you do it anyway because you see your person, the person
You're like,
whoever, you don't even know that, but they're struggling.
I wasn't even the one asked to do this. Right.
But they're having a hard time.
Yeah, totally.
And I have empathy for that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go up and I'm going to stand next to them.
Yeah.
So there you go. So life's work on your courage, and find those moments to be brave, decide to take action or not, but just become more conscious of where you can have more courage in your life.
I like that.
All right, everyone. Hope that this is helpful. Please don't forget, if you're still listening, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast with 5 stars. It makes all the difference in the world. Take a minute and do it. Okay. Until next time, mad love, everyone.